Hey now, welcome to episode 20 of Lone Star Mini Restoration. Thanks for joining in. Today, my next task really is to start removing the floor panel from the Mini now that I've figured out how it all assembles. But before I could do that, I have to clean my shop. My shop has just gotten so cluttered and disastrous, and so for me mentally, I like to, whenever I start a task, I like to start with a clean slate. So in doing that and cleaning my shop, one of my tasks was to put the engine up on the engine stand. And so so that's what I'm going to do. This episode is about putting the engine up on the engine stand. Now, the funny thing is, I kind of reorganized my tools here because so far, the number one tool that I have used on the Mini, I started to swear by it. I started to say that you can take an entire Mini apart with a 1/2 inch and a 7/16 wrench. Well, I found out that's not quite true, because I need a 9/16 wrench for these bolts on the engine to tie the engine hoist down to it. So 9/16 and then a 1/2 inch socket is what I need. So now, here's what I'm going to show you, and this is why I'm putting it on videos, because I learned a lesson. This is a bracket, if you will, right, that goes on the engine stand. This part of it mounts to the engine, and this part of it goes into the engine stand and it locks, and you can rotate it and work on your engine, right? Well, I wish, and I've looked and looked, I wish I could find the gentleman that I bought this from. I bought this from a guy in England, and basically when I bought it, he asked me to send pictures of the engine, and so I did that. And he sent it to me, fantastic, right? Well, when I went to put it on, it didn't quite fit like I thought it should, right? These bolts weren't quite flush. And so I emailed him back and I said, hey, this is what I think's going on. And I showed him pictures, and he goes, oh, he says, that's my fault. I'm sorry. I should have sent you this one. So now I've got these two. They're both for a Mini engine, but just slightly different Mini engines. And I'm going to show you why there's a difference. And it's kind of cool. But the guy was fabulous. No questions asked. I mean, with the pictures, he just sent me the correct one, his expense. And these are kind of heavy, so they're not cheap to send over the pond. So now I've got two of these bad boys. Will I ever use this one? I don't know. Maybe, this is the engine I'm about to put on the stand is for a 998. Maybe this would fit 1275 or something else. I'll hold on to it for the moment, for a while, and then see. But I'll show you why or what's going on. So let's go down to the engine. Okay, so this is the pattern. This I believe was my, what was this? This right here, this is where the oil filter bolted onto, these two bolts here. And I don't remember what these two bolts. It's been over a year now that I've taken the engine out, so I don't remember this. But these two guys right here, these two bolts and these two bolts are the bolts that I'm going to pick up with this engine stand. This is the first one that I got. And if you can see, I mean, the bolt pattern looks like it should fit up, right? These two holes and these two holes. There's two here, but I'm not sure what those two are for. If I use those two, I can't utilize any of these over here. So I went to pick up these two, and then these two here. Let's see. These two here at the bottom, I was going to pick up where the oil filter went. However, when I went to bolt it on, it wasn't sitting flush like this way. And so what I figured out was this little protrusion on the engine casing right here was hitting the sheet metal right here. So you can see when you try to bolt it up, this guy's hitting, and it's preventing this from going flush. So what this guy did, he sent me the correct one versus the wrong one. The correct one, here, let me show you the wrong one first. The wrong one, you can see this, the pipe, the diameter of the pipe here, how it comes and it kind of sticks out. This notch on this plate was for a reason. and that pipe kind of sticks out. Well, this one, you know, the notch is there and the pipe is further that direction. Therefore, when you go to attach it, it clears, I don't know if you can see this, it clears this protrusion on the engine block nicely. So it just lines up wonderfully. So now, tool tip number one. Tool tip or mini engine stand tip number one, put this bad boy on, put it on the engine first while it's on the ground. Ask me how I know, and I'll show you here in a minute. But for me, it's easier. So let me just go ahead and put this guy on. So there's one. Okay. All right, so this bad boy should be on good enough, 4 bolts, 2 and 2, and it's ready to be put on the engine stand. All right, so here's another shot just showing that this guy's on the engine, bolted up, and now I'm gonna hook up my engine hoist. Okay, so, all right, so the engine is ready to hoist. Let's get that going. I'm going to have to employ my wife to help me come with this. So I'm going to go get my wife. And, well, no, you know what? First of all, I'm going to show you what's idiotic. Okay, what I think is idiotic is this right here. My engine hoist right here has a Y support, right? Basically distributing the weight. So it goes out into a Y. And this guy depends on where the top bar is. This guy can handle up to, I think, 3-4 tons. Now this engine bracket, it can handle a little bit more than the other one. I've seen 2 types of engine brackets. One is just basically a T frame, and then this one carries a little bit more load. This one's good for up to a ton, and it also has the footprint, right, with the Y bracket. Well, I got this one because when I replaced my engine on the Suburban, you know, I wanted one to support the engine a little bit better. Well, little did I know, and I realized it then, and it's the same now with this engine, which doesn't weigh nearly as much. But because I've got 2 Ys coming together, they don't fit well, and that's idiotic, right? I mean, it's stupid. I did try backing it in, thinking, okay, well, maybe I can back it in and get a little bit better fit. No. This is stupid. So I'm going to get rid of this one, and I'm going to go with the T, the engine hoist or the engine stand that has a T, so it'll just slide right in. So the reason I said to put this bracket, I'm going to call it a bracket on first, is because you can bolt it, you know, in a relaxed state, and the bolts go in nice and easy. It's easy to bolt up. Because of my my asinine Y engine stand in relation to my Y engine hoist trying to come together, you know, that's just stupid, right? Well, because of that, I cannot get the engine directly over the center of the engine stand. So I've got to like push it. I've got to push it over, and I've got to line it up and get it in there. Well, if this were on the engine stand first, this bracket, then it's a heck of a, it's very difficult to put in these bolts. I did it, you know, so I know it can be done, and that's how I know. I know to do this first now because I've done it once. So I put this on first. Hopefully it'll go a lot better now. I put it in, and now all I've got to do is kind of, you know, pull it over like this and try to line it all up and get it into the engine hoist. So you'll see how difficult this is going to be. Let me go get my wife. If you can.
Do you want me to guide it?
Or? I guess get on that side. And yeah, well, let's try to guide it in. Let me. this is, you know what I'm going to do? No, I'm going to do something smarter. Hold on.
Why don't you like...
Watch your toes. Let's lift it up so I can get it up over that bar. Yeah, that's a whole lot. All right.
Can you push that down a little?
Nope. Just kind of hold it steady. Watch your toes. All right. Hold on. Oh. Okay.
Are you done with me?
Yeah, I guess so. Thanks, babe.
You're welcome.
Okay, so that worked. Lifting the engine or the engine stand up to match that, and then letting it down. Hey, you know, I don't know. Maybe that's a backwoodsy way to do it, but it worked, and it's now on. The engine is now on properly on the stand, and I can get the engine pretty much out of my shop so that I can continue cleaning. I'm going to bolt all the stuff back down. And since the engine is going to be on the engine stand for a while, and I think I'm going to start working it, but I'm not sure. I'm going to tear down my engine hoist just so that I can get it out of the way. All right. Voila. Mission accomplished, I guess. Just to reiterate, it's this protrusion right here on the engine casing with this notch, this cutout in this bracket that allows this bracket to sit flush against the engine. So I feel much better now that I have the right bracket on there. I feel like I can maybe work on the engine and torque it a little bit more. But that guy right there makes a difference in this bracket, the bracket that you end up choosing for your engine. Anyhow, the engine's there. It's bolted on the engine stand. Now I can roll it out of the shop so I can continue cleaning around here. And yeah, so ain't it great? I learned something today by lifting up the engine hoist and sliding it on. That actually worked out really well. A little bit heavy, but I managed, right? Yeah, so hey, thanks for watching. And when you pick out, if and when you pick out an engine stand bracket, make sure you get the right one. This little notch right here, the size of the notch relative to the center of this pipe makes a big difference because this sucker was not sitting flat. But anyhow, so hey, project done. Thank you. Now I can continue cleaning my shop, get the engine out of here. And hey, thanks for watching. Bye just now from Texas.